Aesthetics. They are everywhere, in physical realm as well as digital. Many of them once ruled the world, but now they are nowhere to be seen. What happened? I have chosen a wide range of different aesthetics ranging from 90s to early 2010s, going over music, fashion, design and other artistry of the time. And we are going to take a look at them and wonder what were they thinking, starting with the Gen X soft club aesthetic tried to mix modern and vintage. It is well known that people like a mix of familiar and new the best. That's why DJs will be remixing Better Off Alone for the next 100 years.
One night in town, hustlers' work is never through. I'm such a cliche.
The surprising reason it has Gen X in its name is because the aesthetic was popularized by Gen X in the 90s. It tries to go for the 60s to 70s style by having high contrast but soft colors. The other design elements are often pre-vintage too, like the fonts. It also uses this thing called slow-mo effect, which is when you have the high contrast but higher saturation as well. The colors are also on the warmer side. Warmer colors are usually associated with happiness, energy and excitement. You can also throw in some vignette if you want. The fashion on the other hand is done with muted colors, and the clothes themselves are knee-high boots, long coats or jackets and loose trousers, as well as some other things. According to the wiki, its lifespan was about 6 years. There's no clear reason why it ended like it did, but one reason could be that it just didn't have the X factor for it to become mainstream. This aesthetic is easy to do. All you need is some blue, yellow or green tint to your video and voila. Matrix popularized this back in 1999 by using the green tint to make it feel more futuristic. That movie was a big hit, as we all know, so everyone wanted to get a piece of that pie. Eventually it makes its way to music videos, and what you got is a Linkin Park music video. Usually the yellow tint was used to give a carefree feeling, whereas blue and green served to give a grittier feeling. A perfect example of how yellow tint was used well is in this music video of the song Put Your Records On by Corinne Bailey Rae. I think it captures perfectly how I remember seeing the world as a kid, with the shining sun and the nature, but it's only available in 360p. Okay, so what do I think about this aesthetic overall? I don't really have anything against this. I just struggle to see the appeal in this. In my opinion, some of these work better than others, but overall I think that this was kinda lame because you could only see one color pretty much. Kinda boring. So I'm glad this faded away. I thought that this one would be really similar to Eurobling because, you know, but it wasn't so. This is about wearing pink. Okay, there's more to it, because while that is a big part of it, so is wearing velour tracksuits, low-rise jeans, I love shirts, oversized sunglasses, Uggs, jewelry, and trucker hats to name a few. This aesthetic is also associated with flip phones, MySpace, and celebrity scandals of the time. Who else here had a flip phone? I had. I kinda miss when phones had like more gimmicks like that. I mean, I would probably get used to it after a while and then not even think about it because that tends to happen with gimmicks. That's why having a phone case is so great, because when you take it off, every now and then, you're blown away how nice the phone looks. You can also have a lot of cases and then you can like switch between the cases every month or so. You get the same feeling as when you get a new phone, which is like this excitement and wonder. Okay, so what about the clothes though? I don't think velour is the nicest material out there. Sure, it's soft, but it kind of feels unnatural and too soft. I just have this unpleasant image of scrubbing it with my just cut nails. I didn't know this, but trucker hats are usually more casual, whereas baseball caps are more diverse and serious, I guess. I remember I love shirts. I can't stop imagining seeing someone wear that in 2024. And what it would look like. I'm kinda happy that they aren't a thing anymore, because they didn't even look that good. I had to Google what Uggs were. The shoes look old. Not everything has to be flashy and new though. There's just shoes and you get bored of their looks anyway. So it doesn't really matter too much is it boring from the get-go or not. So you might as well go for the shoe that fits well with most outfits, but especially in your foot. It had a good 4-year run from 2004 to 2008 until it was left alone and new ones came in. Apparently it did have a revival on TikTok, being labeled as McBling and Y2K, even though that word has a different meaning. Well then, what does it mean? Y2K is just a late 90s to early 2000 mainstream things. It's like all of the 2000 aesthetics combined into one. Up to this point it has been a fun ride, but there is a saying that goes, all good things must come to an end. And that holds true here, because well, just look. The wiki page about this is pretty empty, it's like they didn't even bother. It's also a perfect way to explain this aesthetic. Trying to think of things to say about this is really hard because when you visualize it, it puts your mind into a coma. The wiki page didn't mention about it ever dying off, but I think we can all agree that you don't see this anymore as much. Maybe on like a pizzeria or something that isn't part of a big chain. But online, you almost never see this. Thing is that this style was used by amateurs and people that wanna get a quick buck. But now those sort of people have figured out a better way to do it. And if someone were to still use this in their marketing, that would be like taking a fidget spinner to school in 2024. Bubblegum Dance was often used in music videos and album covers. It uses playfulness with its wacky visuals and cheesy lyrics. It was born in late 90s Denmark, but then spread elsewhere, when the other Eurodance bands started mimicking it. I think the first sightings of this aesthetic was DJ's album Superhero. However, bubblegum music has actually been around a lot longer. But that's not the same thing, because this only focuses on Eurodance music with a bubblegum spin. When we take a closer look at how the album covers were made, we can see a lot of different fonts. It seems that the goal was to find the most unusual and wacky font out there and then run it through some effects to make it really pop. Most of the cover art, as well as the music videos, look pretty hideous, but that's how they tried to make it feel carefree, by not caring about how it looked, but making it as wacky and interesting as possible. But how it sounded though might not come off as a surprise that the vibe was always joyful. I think that set it apart because a lot of songs often had some kind of conflict or a problem. Think of any song and there is one. In these songs, on the other hand, everyone seems happy to be in the moment and there is nothing to worry about. These songs and music videos usually appeal to children even though the songs often had suggestive meanings.
When you touch me, I feel funny.
It seems that they didn't have a clear audience in their mind when they made these. But if they were already selling well, you don't need to try to fix something that isn't broken, I guess. Over time, Eurodance ships started to sink and with that, so did Bubblegum Dance. I think its fall is best told by telling what happened to Eurodance. Eurodance felt pretty novel and new when it arrived, but over time it became oversaturated and audiences wanted to move on. 2K7. 2K7 is a video game developed by Visual Concepts and published by Take-Two Interactive in 2006. It's a basketball game. 2K7 is an aesthetic focusing on the year 2007. It's a style a lot of music videos used in that time. This one is almost like a sequel to MTV Green Sky, in that the aesthetic is mostly about using what feels like a lazy filter. This style is usually high in contrast but low in brightness and color. I guess it served to give a modern but serious feel. The atmosphere in general felt dark yet flashy, with all the flashing lights. A lot of Timbaland's most popular music videos had this drilled in, and his videos are the reason this aesthetic is as popular. Kinda had the same role as Matrix had with MTV Green Sky. I've noticed that a lot of music videos from about 10 years ago had like these clips where the singer was dancing or singing in front of lights, or the heavy use of lens flares in general. I think they serve well to give a distinct look though. Okay, the last one. The Chromecore is about glazing technology with metal. As the images might hint, this thing was around when Y2K was. Back then, this kind of design looked futuristic, which is probably a way for them to signal the consumer that the product was next level. Its roots are in the cybercore and metal heart. Those two were digital aesthetics, but the designers at Sharp Corporation wanted to bring it to the real world. I'm not sure if these guys were the first ones, but moving on. They released this phone called Sharp JSH04. The reason you maybe never heard of it is because it was released in Japan exclusively. One other thing that maybe doesn't catch your attention like the chrome finish did, but that's the smoothness. Look at the edges and those corners. Look. One more. Now, let's come to the sad part. Why did this die? Well, for one, colors. Because the chrome finish always looks the same. It's always a silver color. And after a while, people just got tired of shininess. I mean, it looks nice, but it doesn't look special anymore. Thanks for sticking to the end and have a great day.